Good afternoon. Good afternoon. My name is James Husband. I'm the chair of the Senior Men's Club Martin Luther King Blood Drive. And to my immediate right is Ms. Leslie Crawford of the South Bend Medical Foundation. And to my far right is Mr. Richard Williams, who is the co-chair of this effort. And we are coming to you today to share with you some very important thoughts and concerns we have about the blood drive, the blood shortage that's going on in our community and the nation at large. And the person that's not present but did leave an audio recording is Mr. Uthman, Dr. Uthman Cavallo of the Physicians Holistic Health Alliance. And he's going to share some powerful information with us as well. So we're going to start with Ms. Crawford. What do you have to say about this blood drive?
Well, some details about the blood drive. So this blood drive's happening on August 13th, which is a Thursday, which is located here at the Dream Center, the MLK Junior Dream Center. So come out from 9 to 4 p.m., donate blood, support the cause, support our community's needs for blood directly. 100% of the blood you donate at this blood drive will remain in our community. And yeah, come out, support it. If you have never donated blood, this is a great time to just expose yourself to the idea, educate yourself, and really see if it's something that you're eligible to do, you're physically healthy enough to do, and if you are, hopefully it's something that you continue to do.
Very good, very good.
Well, my opening remarks is that we really need the community to come together on August 13th. We're talking about all generations, particularly the baby boomers, the millennials, the Xers, the millennials, and we know that disease takes us down to 17-year-olds. And it's very important because here in South Bend, if somebody gets shot, they need blood. If somebody's in a major accident, they need blood. We have a number of people who have sickle cell anemia, and they need blood transfusions. But the Martin Luther King Jr. Senior Men's Club had put together a collaboration with the South Bend Medical Foundation to host this blood drive, and they're bringing this van, or we call the blood van, over here on August 13th from 9 to 4 p.m. And it's important because August is National Minority Donor Awareness Month. And this initiative highlights a critical need, diversifying the local blood supply. Blood transfusions are vital for treating a variety of medical conditions, including sickle cell disease, which is disproportionately affecting African Americans and Latino Americans because patients experience significantly better health outcomes once they get these blood transfusions. Our goal is to build an environment of awareness and awareness. And also we want to, today in our conversation, we're going to talk about some of the myths, some of the fears, and overcome some of the barriers, and throw a little history in there about Charles Drew, the founder, that an African-American man, doctor, who discovered how to use plasma in order to store and maintain blood. And I'll give it back to you, dear Brother James.
Thank you, Brother Williams and Sister Crawford. Amen. For the insight, and as we said previously, the need for the blood drive is just speaks for itself. We have the capacity to help someone at no real financial cost to them, an hour of your time and give a pint of your blood, and that would be helping someone, helping at least two people. And Rick, you said something about myths. Well, one of the myths is that because you have you may not be in the best of health, or maybe taking medication, or maybe even have a condition yourself. It's not an automatic disqualifier as to whether or not you can give blood or not. But the simplest thing to do is to come out, take the survey, get a prick of the finger, and
Let us tell you whether or not you're eligible to
Yeah,
donate.
yeah, that brings to mind, we talked when we did the radio program last week on WBUS, that I have type 2 diabetes.
Mhm.
but I'm relatively healthy. My A1C is pretty much managed. And my doctor said, no, you can still give blood, you know, unless you've got some kind of major infection or something that's tainted. But come in, take the prick, let them do the analysis on site.
Right.
And oftentimes they can also take your blood and repurpose it for still good use. The blood still has qualities in it, platelets in it, and maybe you'll talk about the science of the blood, white cells and all whatever goes with it. But it's a big difference. And also we're talking about the dismantle the historical stigmas. We got to openly address the fact that a lot of African Americans are hesitant to give blood because they talk about what happened with the Tuskegee experiment,
Right,
what they did
right.
with the sister who they took her cells, and what happened. You know, a lot of misuses, and
Henrietta-
African Americans
Henrietta Lacks.
have been misused. But this, thanks to Dr. Charles Drew, and his discovery in the 40s of plasma, it's a good moment for us to step up and say, we need blood, we use blood. But like in the movie Glory, when Morgan Freeman said, we've been burying these white people all these years in the Civil War, now they're gonna let us fight. We gotta ante up. And this is a battle, this is a war, and we need the community to ante up. Meaning, come on, it only takes 10 minutes to get your finger pricked to check, and it takes 10 minutes to draw a pint of blood. And we're gonna have some surprises for you also on the 13th. We got a new facility that we're gonna let you go in and look at a movie and drink some refreshments as you recover. Go right ahead.
Come out and
Anything
enjoy
to
it.
Yeah.
So I want to touch base on some of the qualifications for a donor.
Please.
So, if you're 17 years old, you're eligible to donate. If you're 16 years old, you are eligible to donate with parent consent. We will have consent forms available for donors. So if you're someone who's a donor and you really want to get your 16-year-old their first donation and you would rather be with them maybe than them donating at their local high school blood drive, bring them with you. It's a great opportunity. It's a good bonding opportunity for generational donors. We see a lot of grandparents who bring in their kids and then their kids bring in their grandkids. And we want donors to continue to do that. So a few things about whether or not you're eligible to donate for whole blood donations. These are the qualifications for whole blood. So one thing that we do see a lot about with females, if you're not 110 pounds at least, you are not eligible to donate. And that's just for your safety. So anybody over 110 pounds, you are eligible to donate. You have to be at least 16 years old with parent consent. General good health. You want to be generally healthy. If you feel under the weather that day, please do not try to donate. We would rather you wait until you feel healthy. Be a responsible blood donor in that way, so that way you continue to donate more than whether it be your first time donating. And if you're a first time donor, please bring your ID. We must have your photo ID in order for you to donate as a first time donor. Can't be pregnant. If you've had any major surgeries that week, I would call us and ask whether or not you are eligible. Some surgeries do not have as long as a wait time, a deferral time. But if you are interested in learning whether or not you will be deferred before taking the time to come out, please call us. Our phone number is 574-234-1157. A staff member can answer any questions that you might have. That way they may educate you on some things that you thought might defer you. One thing that we have seen change is blood thinners. A lot of donors think that blood thinners are still a deferral, and they are not for whole blood. So that was something that did not, or recently changed, I would say, in the last couple of years. So there's a lot of people who think they're not eligible, but they are actually eligible.
So you're saying a blood thinner they used to think that because you take a blood thinner, they couldn't.
It was
donate.
a deferral, and now it's not, which was a huge thing. Like, it was really preventing a large group of people from donating.
Because I take an 80 milligram aspirin, and it's considered a blood thinner. But
I would give us a call, and I think the aspirin does have a deferral time if you take it that day.
okay, so I'll make sure not to take it that week or 2 days before.
And if you want to, give us a call if you want to feel comfortable really knowing exactly that time frame.
Not a problem.
I wanted to circle back, Rick, to something you said earlier, and that had to do with the stigma that's out there in the community regarding the giving of blood. You know, a lot of things have happened, and so So the reservations and the hesitations is well deserved.
Yep.
It's not like these things didn't happen, but, as a longtime donor myself, to the tune of almost 25 years, I've been giving blood. And, you know, I'm a witness that this is not that. And, the procedures they're safe. They use one-time use needles and all those sorts of things. And, as a donor of 25 years, almost 25 years, I'm just a witness that, it's a relatively safe process. And, one need not be fearful about, contamination or, you know, picking up things along the way, because it's a very safe process. And, so take it from someone who's been giving for a number of years. And, I stand before you today. I'm a very seasoned person as far as my age is concerned, and, not taking any medication today, not having any side effects or ill effects from the fact that, and see, here's the thing about giving blood. You can only give legally a pint of blood every 56 days. Is that right?
Correct. Or
Okay.
every 8 weeks, if that's easier.
Okay, well, however you want to figure it out, but basically, the way I look at it is, every 2 months, and that's what it basically equates to. So, you know, and the recovery time is probably a matter of a couple of days. You know, if you drink plenty of fluids, both before and after, there just aren't. I'm sure, I suspect, I should say I suspect, I haven't seen it, but, some people may have a reaction to giving of their blood.
Yeah.
it-
Some people
Yeah.
it just happens. My dad's a prime example. My dad's a tough guy. He was actually really disappointed that he couldn't donate because he is a tough guy. He's not scared, but every time he would donate, his body would have a reaction. He's a generally healthy guy, you know, and he doesn't have trouble health wise, but for some reason his body would just react in a certain way. And you know what, to people who do have reactions every time they donate, and their doctor kind of tells them, I wouldn't do that. Advocate. You can still advocate. You know,
Right.
have a voice on it.
May I take a moment and address some of the hesitations
Yeah.
and some insight? And also, I'm going to preface this by saying we're speaking to all segments. We're not just asking African Americans or Latinos to come.
We wanna
This is open to
diversify
the
our
entire
blood.
community. However, before I make my historical insight, can you explain how that the African American and the Latino community have the highest percentage of type 0, type O?
Type
Look,
O
can you
blood.
talk about that for a moment?
For
And
sure.
why is that valuable?
Well, and I think, Mr. Crawford just touched on that, where there's the body is, it will reject foreign objects or
Yep.
foreign substances. It has a tendency to do that. And, what is peculiar about the African American, the Latino community and
Native
and
American
learn-
also,
and
yeah.
Native Americans is that there's a high incidence of O-type bloods, both negative and positive. And, which makes it, no matter what the blood type of the person
Recipient.
in need of blood, the O will match up with it.
Amen.
So you don't have to, so the idea, and it's my understanding that the hospitals do try to match up blood types as much as and what's interesting is that in South Bend, in the Michiana area here, Memorial Hospital is a trauma center.
Yes.
And so
Regional.
they have a great need for blood in general, particularly O type, because it you know, in trauma situations, it's usually at the worst time of the day or the middle of the night and things of that nature, and you don't have ready access to finding out the blood type of that individual
Yep.
or individuals, and so they can readily use O type, negative or positive, and help that individual, because the one thing we know is that in general, men have about 11 pints of blood, and women about 9. Give or take.
Give
a
or
two.
take, yeah.
Give or take 1 or 2. And, but it doesn't take, you don't have to, that doesn't have to be, you don't have to necessarily lose all 9 pints or 11 pints, whatever it might be, before the body begins to react to the loss of the blood.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and so that's the other thing, that's the other urgent need for the blood, because without it, you know, if there's a blood loss, without it being restored, or replenished, then, other things medically can happen to that individual.
The key word was readily available,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Right.
want it to be available, especially in those emergency situations, O-type blood. That's going to keep you alive long enough to get to the hospital.
Okay,
That's the key, and that's the key point with the O-type blood, O negative. Our EMS vehicles in our community carry O negative blood because they're gonna pump you. We're gonna keep you alive just long enough until you get to that hospital.
keeping blood is a life. It is the life.
It's essential.
force. It's your gasoline.
Yes,
And without with the blood, and as a pastor, as a minister, we talk about the blood of Jesus Christ, who washed us and cleanses us. But the blood that runs through our veins keeps us and sustains us, and we want to give life. But let me segue just for a moment and give some insight to the history to overcome the fears. As I address the hesitation surrounding donation with black and brown and red communities offering blood or helping with medical studies and things, that it's founded on a lot of truth. But also we have a lot to be proud of, because Dr. Charles R. Drew was an African American doctor and a researcher who learned and developed the process for separating plasma from the blood, because plasma is also used to maintain the blood and store the blood. But let me contextualize this historical mistrust. Medical mistrust within the black communities is rooted in documented historical injustices and systematic inequalities. Exploitative medical history, events like the Tuskegee syphilis study and the unauthorized harvesting of Henrietta Lacks cells created a legacy of skepticism toward medical institutions. Racial segregation in blood donation. During World War II, American Red Cross and U.S. Army military segregated blood donations by race or rejected black donors entirely, reinforcing systematic prejudice. Fear and deferral and discomfort. Misunderstandings about qualifications, that is, iron levels, blood pressure, or fears of medications regarding needles, fatigue, and personal medical privacy often deterred potential donors, particularly in the African American, Latino, and Native American communities. But in addressing the gap, validating these historical fears is a key step toward encouraging donation, highlighting the critical need for genetically matched blood, particularly for managing conditions like sickle cell disease, framing donations as an act of community leadership and health and support and advocacy. Now let me just tell you a little bit about Dr. Drew, the pioneer and advocate. Dr. Charles Richard Drew, born in 1904, died in 1950, was an African-American surgeon, a researcher, and a pioneer known as the father of the blood bank. Let's say that again. An African-American doctor and researcher is the father of the American blood bank. We should be first in line giving blood. However, it goes on to say here that his contributions transformed modern medicine. What were the scientific breakthroughs? Plasma preservation. Dr. Drew discovered that by separating red blood cells from plasma and liquid portion of the blood, plasma could be preserved and stored far longer than whole blood and administered to anyone regardless of blood type. Mass blood banks and blood mobiles. That's what we're dealing with on the 13th. During World War II, he directed the Blood for Britain project and later served as the first director of the American Red Cross Blood Bank. He introduced refrigerated mobile blood collection trucks, known as blood mobiles, to expand donor access. Principled stance against discrimination. Protesting blood segregation. Despite Dr. Drew's work saving thousands of lives during World War II, the U.S. Armed Forces and the American Red Cross initially segregated black donors' blood. Resignation in the protest, Dr. Drew publicly condemned the racial segregation of blood and scientifically baseless, emphasizing that human blood plasma is identical regardless of race. He resigned from his director position at the Red Cross in 1942 to protest these discriminatory policies. And the legacy at Howard University. Following his resignation, Dr. Drew served as chief surgeon at Howard University, where he trained and mentored generations of black surgeons. Finally, connecting history to present action. Dr. Charles Drew's legacy demonstrates that advocating for health, equity, and participating in blood donations are deeply connected. We must reclaim community health. By participating in local blood drives, honors Dr. Drew's legacy. Fight against medical discrimination by taking charge of local health resources. And finally, saving local lives. For every pound of blood that we donate, 3 lives are saved. And we can make a difference. So please, calling all Greeks, calling all organizations, calling all church members, everybody in our community, every generation, rise up. Just like that had, what was that group, Brother Dan, that came in and did the big basketball thing? It was a mosh, what did they call that? A flash mob basketball game. Yeah, a few weeks ago, over 1,500 people were at the Dream Center. Call came from everywhere to watch a instantaneous basketball game. Well, on the 13th, we want a flash mob to come in and give blood.
Yes,
Amen.
please.
Thank you for the historical presentation about the work of Dr. Drew. And on that note, Dr. Uthman and Susan Cavallo, who are the owners and of the Physicians Holistic Health Alliance, he has some remarks to make, because he, as a OBGYN and medical doctor, he has some real life scenarios and situations where he can relate to. He's going to relate to us what he has seen as a practicing medical doctor, and so we're going to hear from him at this time.
Check that out right now?
So,
I want to tell you about a moment that never leaves an OBGYN. A healthy young mother has just delivered a beautiful baby. Everything seemed to be going well. Then the bleeding won't stop. It's called postpartum hemorrhage. I've stood in that room more times than I can count. In those moments, the difference between the baby growing up without a mother and with a mother can be a bag of blood that's already on the shelf, ready to transfuse. I've practiced obstetrics and gynecology for more than 20 years. I've cared for women bleeding from ruptured ectopic pregnancies, fibroids, traumatic deliveries, and complications no one could have ever predicted. I've also seen something the data clearly confirms. Black women are 2 to 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related complications than white women. They're also more likely to experience severe postpartum hemorrhage. In one large study, postpartum hemorrhage occurred in nearly 10% of black mothers, compared to just 6% of white mothers. That's not just a statistic. Those are mothers. Those are families. Those are children who may grow up without the person who loves them most. Now here's the part that should stop all of us. Black Americans make up 13% of the U.S. population, but less than 3% of blood donors. At the same time, type O blood, the blood that can be given in emergencies before a patient's blood type is known, is especially common among African Americans. In other words, some of the blood that's needed most often is in a community that's donating the least. I understand why. I'm not naive about our history. From Tuskegee to Henrietta Lacks to the disparities that still exist in healthcare today, the mistrust many Black Americans feel isn't irrational. It's earned. I say that not only as a physician, but as a Black physician. But here's what I also know. Mistrusting a healthcare system doesn't have to mean withholding a gift that could save your neighbor. When you donate blood, it doesn't disappear into some abstract system. It travels from your arm into a bag, into a refrigerator, and often into someone's mother, sister, father, child, or friend within hours. And it's not only mothers who depend on it. More than 100,000 Americans live with sickle cell disease, a condition that disproportionately affects people of African descent. Many require regular blood transfusions simply to stay alive. The best matches often come from donors who share their ancestry. When we don't donate, we're often not withholding from strangers. We're withholding from our own community. So here's my request. I'm asking as a physician who's watched blood pressure disappear from a monitor while a team raced to get blood into a young mother before it was too late. Please give blood. Not because our healthcare system has earned your complete trust. It hasn't. Give because the woman on that operating table, the child with sickle cell, the father in the trauma bay, didn't do anything to deserve our mistrust. They're simply hoping that when their moment comes, someone they never met chose to give. It takes about an hour. One donation can save multiple lives. You have more power flowing through your veins than you may ever realize. Go share it.
Do you have anything to say to that?
I want to touch base on sickle cell disease because this is something that I'm learning more and more about every day, every year. One thing I want to emphasize is that the key points that you both spoke on about diversifying our blood supply, that is so important when battling sickle cell disease. Patients who are battling sickle cell disease can have, 11 transfusions in 1 year. And like we spoke about earlier, your body can react differently to different blood. It may be the same exact blood type, but there are different components within our blood that could, over time, cause your body to react to those blood transfusions. So that's why it's important to diversify the blood supply and have different ethnic background donors coming in, and we will match you with patients at Memorial. If you are a donor and you come in and you have those components in your blood that are going to be able to help, or they're a perfect match to a sickle cell patient at Memorial Hospital, we will call you and we will tell you, hey, listen, your blood matches a patient right now in the hospital who needs you. Please, can you come and donate on a regular basis? That patient, that specific person is depending on you in that moment. And again, it's just something that SBMF is really trying to build the bridge here and with the sickle cell disease and educate younger generations and be aware of it, whether or not they carry the trait. Fun fact, I think it's anybody born after, I think maybe 2000, you were tested as a baby on whether or not you have that sickle cell trait. And a lot of people don't know that. So knowing whether or not you carry that trait is going to help you as you age and you start a family and things like that, really understanding the impact of having that sickle cell trait. And if you don't have it and you want to help someone who does have it or someone who's battling the disease, that's where blood donations come into play. Sickle cell patients depend on blood transfusions for just everyday comfort. Their bodies are every day going through pain, severe pain. I encourage you, do your research about sickle cell disease. The blood cells in your body, for those who have it, are curved, and it's a very painful disease. You have to remind yourselves that you have blood vessel veins in your eyeballs. So those sickle cell curved cells are going through those eyeball veins, and it's a very painful disease. So with those transfusions, It gives you that normal size blood cell, and it alleviates some of that pain to kind of, I don't know, lessen the crescent-sized blood vessels to make it easier for the blood to flow through your body.
Oh, my.
So people who are battling sickle cell disease depend on blood transfusions just to live a daily comfortable life.
That's powerful. And you said something about fun fact. I don't know if the facts are how fun the facts are, but here's a few more facts. As a people, as a race of people, we represent about 12-13% of the both locally, the local community, and nationally. But again, as a group, we only supply about 3% of the blood, that's the donated blood. And we can do better. We can do better. We're better than that. We're better than that. And we need to do better because lives are at stake. Not just John Doe, but
People in our community.
yeah, this is for our community. This is for, you never know.
It could be
the-
you that needs the
Exactly.
blood.
Well, you talked a little while ago about the OBGY, and the people will have by this point about already heard his quote in the post-production. But what's important to recognize that many women who have babies, and particularly the younger women who are having preemie babies because they're teen pregnancy, that still happens, they are highly at risk and oftentimes lose a lot of blood
Yeah.
in those operations because of their bodies haven't matured. And I think that's important. It's not just sickle cell. It's a plethora
Right.
of and particularly folks that have heart transplant and
heart
heart
surgeries,
surgery.
yeah.
They have to continue letting the blood flow
Heart surgeries take a lot of blood.
without question. But I'd like to just ask a question. So what's your first name again?
Leslie.
I want everybody to hear. Leslie, the foundation that you work for.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the foundation and what's the relationship between your foundation and the Red Cross, and how do you guys work together?
So we, South Bend Medical Foundation has been in the South Bend community for over 100 years. We've transitioned into a lot of different phases. Right now, we're really serving the community through blood and different, we're broadening our umbrella. We're really trying to infiltrate into more of the healthcare community, not just blood donations and not just pathology. So we're really expanding. But South Bend Medical Foundation and American Red Cross, I mean, we're very similar, but the main difference with us is that American Red Cross, they're worldwide. They're nationwide. They're everywhere, right? But with SBMF, when you donate with us, you're keeping everything 100% local. And American Red Cross does great things for the community. They do supply hospitals in the area. We supply most of all the hospitals around here. But I know like maybe Goshen, I think somewhere over there kind of, they definitely are in our community. But when you're looking at Memorial Hospital, Elkhart General, SBMF, that's who's supplying the blood to them. So that's really the main difference. American Red Cross, I encourage anyone, if you don't donate with us, please donate at least, right? There's nothing to be.
No, it's
put
just
them
that they
down.
do work in concert for
Yeah.
the same goal.
Yeah.
I live in Cassopolis, Michigan, for example, and I do
Okay.
a lot of things throughout Michiana through my disciple-making ministry. And both James and I serve on the Martin Luther King Senior Men's Club. But what's exciting to us, because we're inviting a lot of people from Southwest Michigan work here in South Bend.
Right.
And we're inviting them to come up and donate blood too, because I'm sure there have been situations, because you've got Lakeland, Corwell Health, and I'm sure the hospitals here regionally
Yep.
work together because trauma's everywhere.
Trauma's everywhere, exactly.
And so if there's a need of supply, you guys ship across there's no real border. There's no Michigan borderline. If somebody needs it over there, you guys are going to make sure that need is met. Is that correct?
I mean, we will, if we can't supply it, there is a
You
backup.
got a way.
Yeah,
That's
there's
good.
a backup always. So, yeah, don't worry, people, we've got.
So what James, I don't know how much more time we got, about 5 minutes or so. Let's just highlight again where, the what, the who, what, when, where, and how.
Thank you, Rick.
And then we'll get some more detail.
Well, this is a good time. So again, folks, hopefully we've shared with you compelling reasons for you to come out and donate. This is something that you can do. And we would that, because again, you never know whose life is going to be saved and or helped by your donation. So again, on August the 13th, which is next Thursday, a week from tomorrow, at 9, between 9, the hours of 9 and 4 p.m. at the Martin Luther King Dream Center, located at 1522 Linden Avenue in South Bend, Indiana, on South Bend's west side. So come out, take some time to come out at lunch, during your lunch hour, before, after, during lunch, but do come out and participate. And as Rick said earlier, it's not just the African American community or the Latino community, but everyone. Everyone is invited, encouraged, and we implore you to come out and participate in this effort. It's
What's that promotion thing about with the ice cream, man?
You want me to talk?
Yeah, what is that about?
So SBMF is partnered with Culver's. We have a few select locations, but we've been told that Culver's is pretty good about accepting it at all locations. But if you come in and give us a pint of blood, Culver's is going to give you a free pint of frozen custard.
Is the Culver's and Niles included, I hope? Because they're right down the
I heard
road.
that Culver's has been great about accepting them at many
All right,
locations.
yeah, 'cause-
If you're concerned, I definitely encourage you to give them a call.
So
Just
will you be
ask.
giving us a coupon or
Yes.
something? How does
we will
that
give
work?
you a physical coupon. It's going to be from the South Bend State Road 933 location.
Mm-hmm.
But if like I said, if you go call ahead, ask that location that you're going to, they've been really great in supporting it.
Yeah, the reason I say that because 933 turns into 51, and when you get into Niles, there's another Culver's right there on the Michigan side.
I would
So,
hope that they would accept
Well,
it.
we're hoping
It's a
that
good
they do.
opportunity
Yeah,
for
yeah.
them. So
A
but
pint
yeah,
for a pint.
A pint for a pint, and we've done this 2 years.
Uh-huh.
Well, I've been with the company now going on 2 years, so this is our second year that I've been here where we did this, and Culver supported it. And we're always looking for opportunity in the community too. If you want to help support a blood drive.
So tell us a little bit about what should we do to prep? What should we drink? What should we eat? And before we give the blood donation, and then what's going to happen after we give the blood donation?
So before, I would say you have to prep your body, right? We want you to be a responsible blood donor. We want you to have a good experience and continue to donate. So always eat an iron enriched foods. We are going to take your blood, right? Which has
Give
a
an
lot
example,
of iron.
because
I
we
would
don't want to go
say-
biting a bunch of metal.
We like meats, red meats primarily, right? Or leafy greens, pastas, different of those grainy pastas. I would say cashews, spinach, berries, grapefruit,
On
raisins,
down the list. Let 'em know.
tomatoes, potatoes, potato skin, pork, liver, molasses, pasta, lamb. There's a
Wow,
lot.
that's good.
Yeah, you can always look it up. Google it. Don't be afraid. Google, hey, what should I eat before I donate blood? It's as simple as that.
What about
But
drinking water? Okay.
Water. Just don't waterboard yourself, but make sure you are hydrated, okay? That is one of the biggest ways to prevent yourself from having a reaction through your donation. If you are dehydrated, there's a good chance you're going to have a reaction. So drink water days leading up. Make sure you feel good that day that you want to donate. And one thing I want to do or want to say is if you say you can't make it out Thursday on August 13th, or say you don't feel well that day, you are more than welcome to stop in at one of our blood donation centers and still credit your donation to the Senior Men's Club blood drive. So if you want to stop in and let us know, just let a staff member know. They'll put the site code, credit your donation to the blood drive. So there's other opportunity if you can't make it.
On the flyer, we've got a QR code, but I was brother James and I recognized. Wait a moment, most people won't have the flyer, so can you give the website to allow people to go and pre-register because they don't have access to that QR code, and maybe Danny can post it on the screen for folks to look at. But what's that site that allows them to pre-register, and explain what that process is?
So basically, if you go to our website, sbmf.org, or if you go to www.givebloodnow.com, you'll see donate blood. Click on it. It'll kind of have you put in your zip code. It'll find the local blood drive. You can click on the calendar date, August 13th. and then you'll pick whatever time that you're available. And yeah, it's as easy as that. If you want a text reminder, click or opt into that, so that way you do receive that text reminder, and it's as easy as that. Or if you want to call us, you can always call us. We can schedule it for you too. Maybe you're not tech savvy, give us a call. That number again is 574-234-1157.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah.